Deion Sanders, he's no longer playing football, but this Football Hall of Famer known as Primetime and Neon Deion continues to stay relevant as both an NFL analyst and a product endorser. I sat down with him at the recent Pepsi NFL Anthems kickoff event where we discussed how he's managed to stay in the branding game for all these years. I want to welcome Deion Sanders. He's been known as Primetime and Neon Deion.
Looking dapper.
Thank you, you too. And NFL Hall of Famer.
Thank you.
Perhaps the best cornerback to play the game. And
Ever.
if you disagree with that,
No
one disagrees with the fact that you were the funnest to watch.
But I'm the second best Sanders to play in the game.
Of course, Barry Sanders is also in our company. We want to talk to you about managing your career over the years, because so many guys have had a hard time with that. You got to be multidimensional and move into diversification. You've diversified.
Well, I'm not going to say that. I think it's hard enough for people to manage their time, not alone their careers. A career is something that has longevity. It's something that, it's not a job. It's something that you love doing. And that's a wonderful place to be, to do what you love and love what you do. And to be able to manage not only the expectation, but the time, the people around you, not only the finances, but all those attributes that comes along with it, is quite it's a task.
Right, and there were so many things that you've done. You've been an NFL analyst, you put out rap albums, you've coached the women's NBA team, you've done a lot of endorsements. Now you're going to be coaching your own high school team, Prime Prep Academy. Tell me about that.
Well, I'm happy. I mean, this is where my life has matriculated to. Just being a blessing to others. God has blessed me to be a blessing, and to have a high school. I've opened nightclubs, I've opened many various things, but nothing to give me the satisfaction to say I have a school, I'm educating people, I'm trying to get kids into college.
And why was that important to you?
It's a way of life. I believe we can stop crime, we can stop ignorance, we can stop poverty with education. Hands down.
You had some skeptical people, some criticism for the
fact
that
you know I'm
starting
successful.
School.
That's when you know I'm on the right track. Whenever you run against critics or obstacles or naysayers or disbelievers, that means you on the right path, because it was something that they agreed upon or they would agree upon. That means you're doing something that's not being provocative or something not affecting lives.
What is it that you're telling these young men, not just the young men that you're coaching, but the young men that are coming through the NFL? At a time where their career is only going to be about 4 years on average. What do you tell them to prepare them?
Just life. Football is such an analogy of life. I mean, you get your butt knocked down, you got to get back up. Life presents that as well. Defeating the opposition. There's always an opposition in life. Offense and defense is being selective, managing time. In football, they have something they call offsides. That means you move too prematurely. You do that in life as well. They have something that you call unnecessary roughness. You do that in life as well. It's some things in life that you do just so unnecessary, and it will save you so much time. We can all garnish and make money, but to get back time, that's something we can't redeem, man. And I don't play about time.
And not to mention that money is hard. And I just met with the NBA rookies, overnight millionaires in many cases. What was the hardest transition for you when you were young, adjusting to that?
Managing people and having a financially successful role model. Who is there to tell a kid from the inner city how to manage $1 million? Nobody. No one in the inner city made $1 million. So who is there to tell you? Now you find yourself secluded on an island, surrounded by attorneys and everyone that's on your payroll. Then you start to fathom in your mind, do they have your the utmost respect and want your success because they're on your payroll? Or are they looking out for themselves? So to disseminate who's who, that's a scary place. Not only that, family members.
Right.
Because now you got all the answers. You got the keys to unlock every engine, every car door, and every obstacle in life that could warrant your attention, because you have resources. And sometimes resources in the hand of a fool would be a fool. If you're broke in a fool, you're gonna be rich in a fool. So.
And is that when you hear about these guys that don't manage the process well, is it because of that pressure of having a disproportionate share of the responsibility on their shoulders?
I'm not just going to say the pressure. I'm just going to say the know-how, the wherewithal,
How did you prepare yourself?
trials and tribulations, and watching. I observed my butt off, man. I mean, I was a kid who learned a lot by watching television, believe it or not. Because now we're in a different time and an age. Back when I was a kid, we had good times. You know, everything went good in the household. They was always scrambling for finances, but they had good times. I saw a young African-American entrepreneur named George Jefferson that started a business, a dry cleaning business, but he moved on up, had a wonderful relationship with his son as well. I saw a father and a son, no barely any woman in the house, but the woman that was in the house occasionally was a God-fearing woman. That was Sanford and Son, but the dynamic this father and son had for one another, it was a bond that could not be duplicated. I saw another affluent African-American family called the Cosbys, where the mother and the father had a job and all the kids were trying to go to college and be someone. I saw those things growing up, and I emulated and imitated some of those things and incorporated them in my life. We don't have those shows anymore.
You're starting a school, you have this school. Do you see that missing with a lot of the young people today, and how do you get around
But we're
that?
not dreaming anymore. The young folks ain't dreaming no more. They think that, you know, everything is a microwave life right now. You could get on a reality show and you could be somebody or someone, you could be a star without going through the process. So everybody want to go up the stairs, but they don't want to go take the process. They want to get to the top, but they don't want to take the process. The process is what prepares you for those trials and tribulations.
And now with your school, you're also going to have a reality show, I hear. You have cameras taking
Yeah.
the practices. Is
Not
that what you want to show?
Well, it's really not there for sports. It's really there for life.
Right, you
Because
wanna show that
I've been through hell and high water personally. I mean, with a ignorant divorce and just bringing the pieces back together and remaining to be who I am and what I am and who I am, what I'm called to do. So that's the dynamic that we're trying to display, how to put the pieces back together.
But you have overcome a lot. You just had your divorce settlement taken care of. You managed it. You were on Twitter. It became a public situation.
True.
But you did manage it. Do you feel that you managed it pretty well,
Yeah.
considering the
Yeah, because
circumstances?
we can see how it goes astray with some of the other prominent NFL players. We can see what could happen, and you could lose everything just by making a bad decision. And we all make tremendous amount of decisions, but those was one decision that you can make up under extreme pressure that can turn your life around and upside down.
Do you feel that you made a bad decision?
No. I feel like I made some great decisions and timely decisions, very cautionary decisions. And decisions not just based on myself, but my kids, my family, friends, and loved ones, and my schools.
It seems in that situation, I don't want to dwell on this, but in that situation when you had your sons filling out the police report, you took a picture of it, you let the public know what was going on, that you were very aware of the fact that it could fall on your head
Well,
because you're the
we
public
now
figure.
see the other way around with Chad. We see how
Chad
it
Johnson.
could have gone. And he loses everything. His job, his television show, self-respect, and so many other values that people deem to set a candor on. We see how that could affect you.
See, now that to me was a byproduct of experience.
True.
That you had been in it for a long time.
Yeah, but I'm 45 years old, man. Experience also correlates with time. You know, Chad is young. A lot of these guys are young. You know, the Bible says when I was a child, I spoke as a child, I thought as a child, I understood as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. So we have to ask ourselves, what are we putting away? What are those childish things? I'm not caught up in fast cars and blinging and this and that anymore, man. Once upon a time, I was.
Limousine, different place I fly. I'm living large, and you know I can't deny. My drop top in, when I'm with my lady friends. My truck is 6'4" with my homies making ends. My speed, I'm on it.
What made you get over it? I mean, at what point do you...
And wisdom. Because when I started thinking about jewelry, I started thinking about what is this besides bait? All it is bait. To get somebody to come to me, see me, talk to me, walk to me, let me manipulate you with this bait. That's all it is. Fast cars, fast things. And man, I drive a minivan, not a minivan, a custom van. I drive a custom Ford Explorer 350 van. That's what I drive.
In Prosper, Texas.
Yeah.
That's
Chevrolet,
nice.
I'm sorry, Chevrolet. Yeah.
And you also adjusted very well to the Twitter phenomenon, social media. You
Late.
came in at a time when not everybody had a cell phone.
Yeah, but I caught on late. And I would only imagine the people I could have touched, you know, in the prime of my career, utilizing that. Just like right now, I utilize it to inform, to educate, to motivate, to inspire and encourage. That's what I've used Twitter for. Not to say, hey, look at me, look at what I got going on. No, I want you to understand who I am, what I am, and how I am, and where I'm going, and how to get there.
You've got a heck of a platform. You're a sports analyst. You continue to do that. Now you're going to be coaching. What are you still doing endorsements? What kind of endorsements do you do?
Yeah, well, thank God DirecTV has been prominent. It's been a wonderful campaign over the last couple of years. I think we have Bridgestone as well right now and a few others burning in the furnace.
Okay, and so once again, ahead of that brand, knowing the importance of keeping your brand equity strong.
Right. Trying your best, man. But you got to be you. That's one thing that no one can beat you being you. And I get sick and tired of seeing people trying to emulate other people. Why would you be a copy of someone else when you could be an original? You got to be you.
Well, it's got to be very difficult to manage a brand when you're not yourself, because so much of it now, it requires you to engage with your public. And
Right.
your public wants to know everything
They
about
want to know
you.
everything about it, and now they have vehicles to know everything about you. They have every type of way. It would be tough for some people who played in my day to even perform nowadays, because everything is out in the open. Everything is everything. You can't hide who you really are anymore without living a lie.
Concussions, it's a big issue in the NFL. You have all your faculties.
Sometimes.
Did you suffer concussions in the game?
I suffered a few, but it's no way to prevent concussions. I mean, you got guys bigger, faster, stronger, and they're more physical than they were in the days that we played. Helmets are better. Padding is better. Uniforms are better. I mean, what the NFL is doing, even in the prevention of concussions, it's unbelievable. You can barely even hit anybody physically anymore without getting a penalty. So they're doing everything they can to prevent concussions, but guys are bigger, stronger, and faster. Point blank.
How many years did you have in your career? I forget. 'Cause you were
14.
in for so
Played
long.
14.
14 years, which is the average career is about 4 years. How do you have a career that long, other than playing well? There's got to be a lot of other things that go into it.
Perfecting before you package. You got to perfect your game. Everyone sees the flash and the dash on Sundays, but they don't understand what transpired Monday through Saturday, and the studying and the whole process of just understanding what my goal is, what my objective are, who am I, and what I'm capable of doing, and what I'm capable of doing to my opponent, and just knowing the game inside out.
All right, Deion
appreciate you,
Sanders,
man.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
And with Deion Sanders, I'm Lee Hawkins for the Business of Celebrity.
I believe that you bring something to the table and your partner bring expertise to the table. And if you merge those two together, those two incredible companies and brands like Starbucks and Magic Johnson, you can hit a home run.
Wow, I never had this much money, especially in a month. $52,000 in a month is ridiculous. So I'm not sure. That's why you have to have the right team, because guys can blow $52,000 in a month like it's nothing.